Morning friends, happy Thursday. How the heck you doing? And what brilliant news to wake up to on this Thursday morning, because it would appear the media were onto something since Sunday and Harry and Meghan are moving back to the UK, albeit perhaps for a temporary period, and their kids will be enrolled in UK schools. They'll maintain the house in California and the same in Portugal. But it seems the UK is going to be their main base for the next few years, I would assume, to maintain the stability of the kids' schooling, at least. And I think it's brilliant. It's what the UK needs at the moment. People that get up, show up, do good with enthusiasm and momentum, and people that use the media to shine a light on the things that the world should be talking about. What this means for the rest of the lazy, parasitic royal family, it's not good news. The revelation about Charles Spencer's book, reopening the tragic life that Diana had, Harry's mum. These two are now moving back. And I assure you, William and Kate will be absolutely incandescent with rage about this. Because Harry and Meghan being around, showing up, doing good, is going to highlight yet again how inferior Kate and William are. The low work rate, the low levels of intelligence, the shrugs of the shoulder when work needs being done, the constant holidays from William and Kate, they will be exposed by comparison to Harry and Meghan for the people that they really are. I would not want to be around William and Kate or that family when this news broke, because they will not be happy. These people are good. The rest of them, even if you don't believe they're bad, the rest of that family is boring and lazy.
Yes, it's a huge surprise, Rita. The Daily Telegraph reporting that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, that their two children, Archie and Lilibet, will be moving back to the UK in the weeks ahead. In the past few minutes, I've spoken to a spokesperson for Harry and Meghan who has confirmed that this will be happening, that the children, Archie and Lilibet, are going to be enrolled or have been enrolled in a UK school, which means they are likely to start the new term in the second week of September. So we're likely to see the family back here literally in the weeks ahead. We understand, and the Telegraph are reporting, that they will move to a home outside of London. It won't be a royal residence of any kind. The move back to the UK won't change their status in any way. They will remain non-working members of the royal family. But they clearly feel, rather surprisingly, that at this stage of their lives, they would like to return to the UK, move away from the life that they had built in America, and have their children, importantly, educated here in the UK.
Daniela, thank you. Daniela Rolfe there.
Breaking news. Harry and Meghan may be moving back to the UK. Ma'am, sir, I literally been enjoying my summer, taking a break from everything. And even I have had to kind of break my oath to myself about doing content in the moment and talk about this. So based off this exclusive from the Telegraph, Harry and Meghan will move back to the UK with their kids. Now, to be totally fair to them, it seems like they're starting to actively do the things that they always wanted to do when they first announced they was leaving the UK, which is they wanted to do half the year in the UK and the rest in America, and do their charitable work as independent working citizens. But I have to be completely honest with myself and with you all. Now, if this is true, because we have not gotten an official word with or from Harry and Meghan in their camp, if this is true, which unfortunately I have to say more than likely it is true, there will be a lot of questions, for one. And the main one is why? One can only assume that Harry's security has had a thawing and he will be given security. And also, kind of been seen in the past few months, there's been kind of rejuvenation, I could say, with King Charles and then the pair. And also, a lot of people who are supporters of Harry and Meghan probably going to ask, why would you move back to a country that is racist and was racist towards you? That is a fair question, but then my response to that is that regardless, racism is everywhere. Racism is in America. And on top of that, this is Harry's home country. They never wanted to leave in the first place, despite of what you may hear they never wanted to leave. They still wanted to do what they wanted to do, but the security and the powers that be made it impossible. And also, these kids has barely been there. They have barely had any interaction. They barely done anything in the UK. So it is only fair that he shows his kids where he's from, their heritage. I mean, again, racism is going to be everywhere no matter where you go, unfortunately. And as a black man, you deal with it, sadly. Again, I don't know how true this is, and more will be revealed in the days to come or the hours to come if this is true, and we will be on top of it. And I'm back.
Prince Harry and Meghan Windsor are returning to the UK. Something is wrong. This is not normal. This is not okay. Meghan has been very, very clear that she's not returning back to the UK after being hounded, and particularly violently, by the UK press. And it has continued, and it's also been happening for Harry and his family. And so as a result, they moved to California. Now they are saying that they're moving back to the UK. Why? Why? Why on earth would you come back? The thing is that as a family man myself, there's a certain level of peace that you get by just removing your family from situations rather than constantly engaging and fighting, right? The constant engaging and fighting, it doesn't serve you, your family, or anything. And they do have it out for them. So what on earth is going to bring you back to these shows at this particular time? My worst fear is something is wrong within the royal hierarchy, and there will be some changes, adjustments, and movements, and he wants to be close. Whether he will play a role in the future, I don't know. I'm going to leave the speculation up to you. I'm open to hearing what you think as to why he's come back. But there is no reason that is out of his control that he would come back for. Sorry, there's no reason that in his control that he would come back for. It must be something bigger than him and his family as to why he's coming back. Because the UK's press' desire to destroy that family is unrivaled. I don't actually even know. If you told me why people hate Meghan, and you ask people, I've done it on Jeremy Vine a couple of times, why don't you like Meghan Markle? They actually don't have a solid reason. It kind of goes with like, yeah, because she's, and they start listing off a reel of names that the press has presented about her, but has never been experienced by anyone we know.
So we all woke up to the news that Harry and Meghan may be coming back to the UK. I saw the news last night and I was surprised. I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. I was shocked and really surprised because I'd only just posted this video.
I don't want history to repeat itself. I do not want to be a single dad. And I certainly don't want my children to have a life without a mother or a father.
And of course, I talked about how it was a great thing Harry took Meghan and his family away from the cesspit. So to hear that they're coming back was a big shock to me. And a lot of Squaddies, supporters, fans, defenders, of course. But then obviously I've slept and I've woken up. And my thinking is just they know more than us. Always remember, they know more than us. We are seeing 20%, 10% even, maybe 5% of what's really going on. I'm not making excuses, but this is my thinking. We don't know what's going on. People are speculating, oh, it's Charles, he's exiting and all of that. For me, I don't think that's big enough reason, but that's for me. It may be for them. It is their life at the end of the day. I said to somebody, I felt like a clown posting that video yesterday, talking about how good it was. He got them out, Harry got them out. And they're like, no, don't feel like a clown. They make the best decision for themselves. We're just seeing what they're allowing us to see. So that's the truth. That's the only truth of the matter. That's the only fact of the matter. As a supporter and as somebody who supports them and really likes them and defends them most, I was like, I can't defend this decision. I cannot, hand on heart, after knowing everything that's been going on in the UK, in the media, especially lately, defend this. But again, hey, they're going to face a lot of abuse. That's clear. They've even started already. I've still seen the headline. The Rangers, Royal Family fans, Sick fans saying, oh, they're crawling back on their knees with their begging bowls. They're only coming back for taxpayers' money. They're only coming back because they can't hack it. They're failing. They're blah, blah, blah. They've come on bended knees. They can't do it without the Royal Family connection. They're not thriving. They can't make it, blah, blah. We know all of the things the Rangers say. But what we know so far is they're keeping their Munster mansion. They're keeping the Portuguese house. I think they've got a house there. And they're going to be living quite privately. I don't think they're doing any royal duties. So, yeah, all of those things are like, all right. They've enrolled their kids in school here from what they've said, from what I've read. Hey, At the end of the day, these are strangers that the media like to shine unnecessary light on and make everything and villainize them and criticize, hate everything they do. I'm not living their life for them. They know what's best for them. I'm just a supporter and a defender. No, the decision to me still, for now, is strange. We don't know their reasons. We may never know the real reasons. But hey, I'm not going to pile on. I definitely will never pile on. We as fan supporters, defenders don't always have to agree with everything people we care about and really like do, but we have to respect it. I'm not preaching to anyone. Honestly, I'm really also trying to you guys know what I mean, right? But anyways, yes, so we'll see how it unfolds. There's going to be a lot of abuse, so that's something we're going to buckle up for, except if there's been an agreement with them and the press to stop the attack. The attacks have started, so there can't be any such agreement in place. So we'll just see how it goes, right? We'll just see how it goes. Guys, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. If you like what I said, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm joking. Let's just see how it goes. We're here. We are here. We're here for them, whatever they do.
Breaking news, Squaddies. It is being reported that Prince Harry and Meghan Sussex are coming back to UK this year, and here is my honest take concerning this news. Squaddies, let's be real for a second. If Harry is going back to Britain because he wants to be closer to his dad, I completely understand that. At the end of the day, Charles is his father. You can have arguments, you can have years of disappointment, you can live on the other side of the world, but when your dad's health becomes a serious concern, that family connection can hit differently. Harry might simply be thinking, I don't want to look back one day and wish I'd spent more time with him. And honestly, that's human. If he wants to see his father more often, that's Harry's business. And if Archie and Lilibet get the opportunity to spend more time with their grandfather, that's something Harry may want for them too. But hold on, because this is where I start getting nervous for Meghan. Harry wanting to reconnect with his father does not mean Meghan suddenly has to forget everything that happened to her in Britain. Let's not pretend we don't remember. This woman could breathe, and somehow it became a headline. She wore something, headline. She didn't smile, headline. She smiled too much, another headline. At some point you're thinking, can this woman just have a cup of tea without somebody writing 900 words about it? The scrutiny was relentless. And that's why I don't want people turning Harry's decision to spend more time with his father into some ridiculous expectation that Meghan should now just walk back into Britain and pretend the past never happened. No, forgiveness within a family is one thing. The British press changing its behaviour is something completely different. Harry can decide that he wants to rebuild that relationship with his dad. That's personal. But Meghan does not owe the British media a clean slate. And this is the part I really want people to think about. What has actually changed? Has the press suddenly learned some manners? Have the photographers decided, you know what, let's give this family some breathing room? Have the commentators retired from analysing Meghan's every facial expression? Because if none of that has changed, then why should anyone expect Meghan to feel completely comfortable coming back? That's my concern. I'm not sitting here saying Harry and Meghan shouldn't return. I'm saying if they're coming back, they deserve to come back as a family, not as a travelling circus for the tabloids. Harry should be able to see his father, Meghan should be able to live her life without being picked apart, and those children should be allowed to grow up without every private family moment becoming tomorrow morning's front page. That's not asking for special treatment, that's asking for basic decency. So yes, I understand why Harry might want to be closer to Charles, I really do. But Meghan shouldn't have to carry the burden of that decision on her back. If Harry is choosing to open that door with his family, then I hope Britain has enough sense to make sure Meghan doesn't walk through that door and find the same old madness waiting for her. Because Squaddies, we've seen this movie before, and I don't want a sequel. Now Squaddies, this is where I have a serious question for the British press, because everybody is talking about Harry and Meghan coming back, but I'm sitting here thinking, what about the press? Because let's not act like Harry and Meghan just woke up one morning and said, you know what sounds fun, moving back into the middle of that media madness. No, we all remember what happened. Meghan couldn't step outside without somebody having an opinion. Her clothes became news, her body language became news, her facial expressions became breaking news. Even the way she supposedly looked at somebody could turn into a whole debate on television. Honestly, sometimes I wondered if Meghan needed to submit a weekly report just to explain what her eyebrows were doing. That's how ridiculous it became. So now they're reportedly coming back, and I'm thinking, has anything actually changed? That's the question. Not, why are Harry and Meghan coming back? Not, what does this mean for William? Not, is Meghan plotting something? Please, let's leave the conspiracy department alone for 5 minutes. The real question is whether the people who made life miserable for this family have learned anything. Will photographers give them space? Will the tabloids stop turning every tiny moment into a story? Will commentators stop analysing Meghan like she's sitting an exam every time she walks into a room? And most importantly, will the media remember that Harry and Meghan are human beings before their headlines? Because returning to Britain doesn't mean they have signed up for round 2 of the circus. They are not coming back so that every newspaper can have a Sussex story ready for breakfast. They're coming back as parents. They're coming back as a family. And whatever their reasons for returning, they should be able to live their lives without having somebody hiding behind a bush waiting to turn a school run into tomorrow's front page. And let's be honest, Squaddies, this is where regular people can understand the issue. Imagine leaving a workplace because the environment became toxic, building a new life somewhere else, finding some peace, and years later deciding to visit again because your family situation has changed. Would you want everybody from that old workplace following you around with a camera? Of course not. You'd probably say, please, I've moved on, leave me alone. That's basically what I'm asking from the British press. If Harry and Meghan are coming back, give them room to breathe. But for goodness sake, stop treating their existence like an unlimited subscription to newspaper content. Because Meghan has already experienced what relentless scrutiny can do. And that's why I'm watching this situation very carefully. I support Harry and Meghan. I understand why they might want to return. But I am also saying this loud and clear. Don't drag Meghan back into the same media storm she worked so hard to escape. If Britain really wants to show that things have changed, this is the moment. Let the family live. Let the children be children. Let Harry be a son. And let Meghan simply be Meghan. Because if the cameras, headlines and endless commentary start all over again, then don't be surprised when people start asking the obvious question. Did the press learn absolutely nothing?
Now, Squaddies, this is the part of the story that really makes me sit up. Because we're not talking about Harry and Meghan flying into Britain for a couple of days, shaking a few hands, attending an event and jumping back on a plane. We're talking about their children potentially spending a significant amount of time there. And that's a completely different situation. Harry and Lilibet are children. That's it. Before anybody starts talking about titles, royal connections, family drama, or whatever nonsense is trending that morning, remember that these are 2 young kids who deserve to go to school, make friends, mess around, learn things, and have a normal childhood. They don't need strangers documenting every move they make. And this is where I really hope the British media understands the assignment. Leave the children alone. Seriously. We don't need to know the name of their school. We don't need pictures of the school gates. We don't need somebody telling us which route the family takes in the morning. We don't need a journalist playing detective because they spotted a particular car somewhere in Britain. And please don't start with the whole, but they're royal children. Okay, and? Does that suddenly mean privacy disappears? Because I don't remember childhood coming with a press pass. Harry and Meghan are the parents. They get to decide how much of their children's lives are shared publicly. And considering what Harry has already experienced with the media, I can understand why protecting Archie and Lilibet would be extremely important to him. This is a father who knows exactly what happens when the media machine becomes obsessed with your family. So if he wants his children to have boundaries, I'm completely behind him. And honestly, this shouldn't even be a controversial position. Imagine being a regular parent. You take your child to school every morning, you want them to make friends, you want them to feel safe, you want them to concentrate on homework instead of wondering whether somebody is taking pictures of them. That's what every parent wants. So why should Harry and Meghan's children be treated differently? Yes, they're connected to the royal family. Yes, people are curious about them. But curiosity does not create entitlement. You can be curious and still respect boundaries. That's the difference. And I really hope Archie and Lilibet can experience Britain differently from the way their parents experienced it. I hope they can go to school without cameras waiting outside. I hope they can make friends without those friendships becoming gossip. I hope they can have birthdays without every little detail being dissected. And I hope they can grow up knowing that they don't have to perform for the public simply because their parents are famous. Because at the end of the day, Squaddies, Archie and Lilibet didn't ask for any of this. They didn't choose the headlines, they didn't choose the cameras, they didn't choose the family drama. So if Harry and Meghan are bringing their children to Britain, then I have one very simple message. Let those kids be kids. That's not asking for a favour, that's basic decency. Now Squaddies, hold on to your seats because you know what happens whenever Harry and Meghan make a move. The Sussex Conspiracy Department clocks in for overtime. The news barely hits the headlines and suddenly we've got people acting like they've been handed classified documents. They're desperate to come back. Hollywood has finished with them. They're crawling back to the royal family. William has somehow forced them into this. And of course, Meghan has a secret plan. Here we go again. I can already imagine somebody sitting in front of a camera with 12 screenshots, 3 red circles, and a massive arrow pointing at Meghan's handbag. Squaddies, you won't believe what this means. Mate, it's a handbag. Put the detective badge down. And that's the funniest part of all this. Harry and Meghan don't actually need to give these people the explanation they're demanding. Their family decisions belong to Harry and Meghan. If Harry wants to spend more time near his father, that's his choice. If Meghan is willing to make the move with her family, that's their decision. If they want their children to experience more of Britain, again, that's between the parents. It doesn't automatically mean they're crawling back to royal life. It doesn't mean they're begging William for a job. It doesn't mean Meghan is trying to become a working royal again. And it certainly doesn't mean the Sussexes have suddenly thrown away the independent life they've built. They're reportedly maintaining their home in California. They're still living privately. They're still doing their own work. So why are some people acting like Harry has packed his bags and turned up at Buckingham Palace asking for his old office back? That's not what this looks like. And here's something regular people understand very easily. Sometimes life changes. Your family circumstances change. Your parents get older. Your children grow up. You start thinking differently about where you want to spend your time. You don't need some enormous secret master plan. Sometimes family is the reason. And if Harry is thinking, I want to be closer to my dad while I still can, I don't think that's particularly mysterious. That's actually pretty normal. What I also find interesting is how quickly some people want to turn every Sussex decision into a defeat. If they leave Britain, they're running away. If they stay in America, they've been rejected. If they return to Britain, they're crawling back. So basically, Harry and Meghan can't win. If they go left, it's a problem. If they go right, it's also a problem. At some point, you've got to accept that these are two adults making decisions about their own family. And that's why I'm watching this with a very different attitude. I'm happy if Harry gets more time with his father. I'm happy if Archie and Lilibet get to know Britain on their own terms. I'm happy if Meghan feels comfortable enough to make the journey with them. But I'm also going to keep one eye firmly on the media. Because returning to Britain doesn't mean Harry and Meghan have surrendered their boundaries. It doesn't mean they've handed over control of their lives. And it certainly doesn't mean everybody gets unlimited access to the Sussex family. So let the conspiracy machine spin. Let them make their videos. Let them draw their red circles. Let them connect dots that aren't even in the same postcode. Harry and Meghan don't have to live their lives according to somebody else's theory. They can make their own choices. And if Britain is where they want to spend more time right now, then I say let them. Just give this family some space. Because Squaddies, I'm supporting the Sussexes coming back. But British media, don't make me regret cheering them on. Thanks for watching, Squaddies. I'm your host, Miles. Love you all. Stay blessed, stay strong, and I'll patch you in the next episode. God bless you and have a blessed week ahead.